This is Greg from FRC Foamies. I'm at the field this morning with the RCPowers F35 version 3. 2 weeks ago, Jay built one and put a high-speed system on. He had the Focal Price 2700 kV motor and the NTM on there. Thing flew very well, and of course Jay's a great pilot, so he made it look easy to fly the thing fast. I wanted to do the exact opposite, which is something I did with the MiG-29 version 3, is put on a 2S system, keep the wing loading as low as possible, and see what kind of a slow speed maneuverability we can get out of it. So this plane weighs about 16 ounces with a 2S 1800 battery with the RC Timer 2600 kV motor on 7 by 3.8 wide slow fly prop. I've got all the control surfaces activated here. I've got the 4x4 set up on the elevons and ailerons. I've got rudders, and then I also mixed in the Airbrakes system, which I had on the F35 version 2, which allows you to fly it very slow and stable. And that also gives me the V-tail mix there, so I still have some rudder control. Then I decided to try the Spoilerons also for some high alpha flying. I've got KF2 airfoils on here, and I've modified the KF2 to intersect. If you draw a line between these two KF2s, they intersect at the center of gravity. I've been doing that on all my planes now. I feel it gives it more aerobatic ability to have the KFs terminate right here at the center of gravity. It seems to rotate around center of gravity very easy when you do that. I've got the servos placed at center of gravity. I've got the 3 here and 3 here. You can see here I've got the battery close to center of gravity. The ESC here, receiver here, everything is mounted right around center of gravity. And by moving all the components as far forward as possible, you keep the center of mass around center of gravity, and it should maneuver very well. The other thing I did was sand all leading edges, but I also sanded all trailing edges. Being a Formula 1 fan, I know how important it is with what the air does when it leaves the plane. So I want to try that. I've got all the surfaces rounded on the leading and trailing edges, and we'll see if that has any effect on the slow flying. So let's give it a shot. No drama on that takeoff. Very smooth. I noticed that with version 2, it's very smooth and direct. Every little input has an immediate response. All right, let's do the air brake system. I've got the flaps down. Using the rudders to steer. The thing just floats. Wow. Okay, flaps off. Try some spoileron action next. Okay, spoilerons up. We'll bring it down a little bit. Yeah, the wind's... So with spoilerons up, I've only got rudder control. The elevons really have very little control. It appears like the spoilerons are blocking the elevons. I can reduce the angle of the spoilerons maybe for the next flight. So it's very ineffective to have spoilerons. You doing a little rudder. Plane is so maneuverable there. You can do a rudder and roll input and get some wacky maneuvers out of it. All right, I'm going to put a 2200 battery in there because it feels just a little bit tail heavy, and this 1800 is almost spent. It does a rollout at the top of the loop. It does a rollout. And that indicates center of gravity being a little bit too far back. You can see how the back end is twisting on the loop. So let me put a heavier battery in there for a second. And glide it in. The launch system works just fine. All right. Beautiful, very stable now. Adding the, moving the center of gravity up really transformed it. So I was trying to maintain a very low weight. I was a little bit over 16 ounces with the 1800. I'm probably closer to 18 ounces now with the 2200. But it really transformed the plane into a very stable flyer. It was stable before, but every time I did a loop, it did a rollout. And now it's very stable through the loops. And it's pretty breezy here too, so even with the KF2 airfoil, it's doing very well. I'm pretty impressed with the way this is reacting with the KF2s only. Normally I like to do the modified KF4, which is the 6mm upper and 3mm lower, and that gives me a good combination of wind resistance and lift. But you can see the speed of this plane is very good on 2S. All right, let's bring it in for a landing. Put the flaps on, the air brakes on, and see if I can bring it in nice and slow. Wow. And so the air brakes do work, not in windy conditions, but very happy with the way the plane performed. It's actually a pretty fast flyer on 2S, and at this weight it does some great aerobatics at slower speeds. So even though it's called the scale trainer, the plane's got a lot of performance.